Let's take an 87-mile road trip. That's one way to C.P. Johnson Lumber to get the cherry for the chest of drawers. Well, we're here. I'm going to try and get some B-roll and show the project to these guys that I built the other load of cherry out of. But C.P. Johnson Lumber, here I am. Let's get some wood. Okay. Here's the cherry piles. This is all the cherry stuff. Cherry, cherry, cherry. And you can see rustic walnut. And walnut. And more walnut. Sapele, which is a wonderful wood. I love working with sapele. I have no idea what species these are, but there's a lot of wood here. All the way down here. Here's that two-surface planer. Hopefully I'll get some shots of that in action. This surfaces both sides at once. Of course, it doesn't square anything up or flatten it. It just planes it, which is what I'm looking for. More lumber of varying species stacked and ready for people to make good, nice pieces of furniture out of it. Let's see what we got over here. That looks like sapele or mahogany. One of the two. That's beautiful wood. That's some beautiful freaking wood. Stickers, tons of stickers. Some maple. And now it's time to pick some cherry out. And there it is. This is for the carcass, the sides, and the ancillaries. This piece over here, which for the base, which has the bracket feet, and for the crown molding, I'm going to cut for it, whichever pattern I pick. But there's the start. For the drawer fronts, it's 3 more pieces like this, because there's a lot of wood in the drawer fronts. There's 8 drawers. So now we need to break this down, edge plane it, or edge it, joint it, cut them to width so I can glue them together to get the sides. That's for these 2 pieces right here. Nice trip. Nice trip. There you have it. Well, not it. Anyway, so these are the 4 pieces that are going to be the sides. They're 54 plus in length. It's going to be 54 long. I have to joint these and glue. I have to joint them, but what I'm going to do is make sure I cut all of these to the same length exactly, which means stack cutting them. A little more on that later. The other pieces that are left over will be probably, actually this time around for the top, I was going to make it with a pine top and a pine bottom that are dovetailed into the sides. Well, the issue with that is because this is only 54 high, people can see over and see the pine top. Now, some pieces that are taller, like so, high boys, bonnet top high boys, whatever, they would have a pine or poplar top dovetailed into the sides. I don't have that option, so the top is going to be dovetailed into the sides, and it's going to be cherry. So if someone tall like me walks up to it, when you look over the crown molding, you'll see a sea of cherry on top. The bottom, of course, will be pine. I'm going to reiterate this a couple of times throughout the build. You build the case first. Don't worry about the drawers. Build the case. Get the case the way you want it perfectly. There'll be variations, of course, because after all, it's wood. Build the case first, and then you build the drawers to the case. Now, because this is an open cabinet, you're not going to get a piston fit. You get close to it, but you're not going to get the. They'll go in. Drawers will go in and out. But what you want, basically, what I want is a drawer setup. So when I pull over here on a tall drawer, on a wide drawer, I pull this one, and the whole thing comes out easily without racking. That's a 1/16 of an inch fit on either side, I think. So let's do some jointing and some gluing and some more cutting. Okay, that's the first step. So these are cut to 10 and a little bit extra, so I can flip them over and make sure I get parallel, run them through the table saw again. You'll note, if you saw in the time lapse, I'm using a featherboard, and I drop the blade below the saw. I set up the feather, because they're all different widths. I set the featherboard up for the next cut, lock it down, bring the blade up and make the cut. That gives me a good solid purchase against the fence. No vagaries of the hand. And I may be talking a little loud right now because I don't know if you notice, I'm not wearing my QC35 Bose A&R headsets because they broke and I had to send them back to Bose. I got the little foamies in. So quick shout out to Bose. They don't repair the QC35s anymore. They don't support them anymore. I've had these for 10 or 11 years. But if you send them back, they'll exchange them for half price for the QC45s, which I did, because I just love Bose headsets. We use them in the shop, I use them around the house, and I use them in the airplane. For those who don't know, I'm a pilot too. I use them in the airplane, Bose aviation headset. So, shout out to Bose, not a sponsor. Anyway, let's get back to flipping these over and getting the exact width to 10 inches. So there you go. Those are the right width. I'm now going to go to the chop saw and trim one end square, and still have more to cut off later, but I want to just have one end square when I go to glue them up, just for giggles. And then after they're glued up, we can trim them to the actual length, which is 54 inches. I forgot to mention there's 8 feet of feet, 8 inches of feet. So it's actually, and then a 2-inch possible crown molding. So we're looking at 64 inches maybe. And I actually did that specifically to match the golden ratio, 1 to 1.69 something or other. So it'll look like a lot of the furniture built by our ancestors was built to the golden ratio. The Fibonacci numbers are everywhere in our ancestors' furniture and their homes. Just it's pleasing to the eye. It's one of those things you look at, it says, yeah, that's kind of right. So let me do some chopping and then we'll do some gluing. Got the boards where I want them. I got the grain where I want them. I'll orient the grain more when I go to do the glue up, which is next. So I've got trimmed side to side. I've got a squared off end and an open end. When we do the glue up, which will be the back-to-back clamps here again, I'll put a board on the vise over here, which will act as a, a datum butt, and then slide the board, glue them up, slide the boards in up to that, and they'll be kind of flush on this side. It doesn't have to be perfect because I still have to take about a half inch off each end, or a quarter inch off or a half inch off to get these exactly the 54 inches that I'm looking for. Let's make these videos a little shorter now. So we'll end this episode here, and the next episode we'll do the glue up. Or I'm thinking about, I have to practice with the lead jig to do the half blind dovetails with a drawer that has overlay. So I might just do a video on that. It won't be a tutorial on how to use a lead jig, but it'll show you my adventures and frustration with doing half blinds in a lead jig. It's a little bit more finicky than doing through dovetails. Through dovetails are a breeze on the lead jig. Blind dovetails are a little bit more finicky. So anyhow, until next time, make wonderful, great things out of wood. See ya.